Hey everybody, Chris the old ass retro gamer here, and I am back today with another recent pickups live stream. Holy crap, everybody. Like, you just don't understand. This month has been pretty awesome. So got an extra paycheck this month. The way the pay schedule at my job kind of worked out, I ended up having like one paycheck that didn't have to use it for any bills. So I basically just went, what have I been wanting for a while? And I got it. So I have managed to pick up a ton of stuff. I mean, if you guys have been watching my Facebook page or my Instagram page or my Twitter feed or whatever, you see like the video game pickups. I did get a lot of video games, but what you're not seeing are all the films and Blu-rays and 4Ks and whatever that I've been buying. I kind of went crazy at one point. I was just kind of like, now's the time to do this thing I've been wanting to do for a while. Let's get it over with. You have the means to do it right now. Let's just do it before these things aren't available anymore. You'll see what I'm talking about once I get there. So, shall we just dive right into it? Because I have a ton of stuff to talk about. All right? So, like, lately I've been starting off with the movies to get them out of the way, and this is going to be quite a lot of films to cover. So we'll do it the same way I did in the film collection live streams, where I started off with like the DVDs, don't have any DVDs. Then I went into the television box sets on Blu-ray. I'm going to start with those. Go into the the regular standard Blu-rays, 3D Blu-rays, and then 4K UHDs. And like I said, there's a lot. What's up, 8-Bit Glitch? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Just in time, because the first thing I'm going to talk about is the only television show I got on home media, and that is the complete collection of Ash vs. Evil Dead. This is the television show sequel to the Evil Dead films that was on Starz. Don't have cable, so I did not have access to Starz. I could have gotten it on a streaming service if I really wanted to. I didn't feel the need. Not a lot of stuff there that interested me outside of this, and I always figured I'd watch it after the fact. Got this at Best Buy. They were having a sale again. Hail to the king, baby. Give me some sugar, baby. Yeah, I love the Evil Dead. Well, I love Evil Dead 2. I love Army of Darkness and the remake and everything. Yeah, I've only seen bits and pieces of the first season. I saw like an episode here or there. I liked what I saw. It doesn't look as scary as like the remake or the original movie. It was mostly like comedy with some gore thrown in, and Xena the Warrior Princess. So now is my chance. I get to watch all 3 seasons of it in one. But like I said, Best Buy was having another sale. Pick this up pretty cheap. I want to say it was $25, I want to say. So yeah, I can't wait to dive into this. I was like super thrilled when I saw that on their website. I was just like, yes. Got some 3D Blu-rays to talk about, I think. Yes, I do. Where'd they go? There they are. I mixed everything up. I'm a stupid. Well, let's just, you know what? Let's just talk about the standard Blu-rays first. How about that? We'll go into 3D stuff laters. All right. So went to my local Target to do some grocery shopping. I always hit up the electronic section while I'm there. Lately, the movie section at my Target has been bare. I don't know if just not a lot of stuff is being released. They always just seem to have the exact same crap out. Movies I've never heard of, television shows, lots of kids stuff. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Last time I went, they had a lot of cool stuff. One of which was they had a Blu-ray of Bill and Ted Face the Music. This was released, funnily enough, on my birthday this year, and I had intentions to go and see it at the movie theater on my birthday, but wasn't playing anywhere within 40 miles. Awesome. So I ended up renting it on Amazon, and I absolutely loved it. It's a great finale to like the Bill and Ted trilogy. What's up, Zap Crystal? How's it going? Welcome, Dad Racer. Good to see everybody. How's everyone doing tonight? It's a freaking snowpocalypse out here in Chicago right now. It sucks ass. So I've been homebound all weekend, dreading digging my car out in the morning to go to work. It sucks. But anyway, absolutely loved it. I was kind of mad that I didn't get a chance to see this in the theater. I thought it was great. I just wish Kiru kept the beard, because when he shaves, he has like this, like a dog face. It's just this long, mopey face. But whatever, it's really funny, really good sequel, follow-up, covers a lot of ground. It's a dense movie. It's a lot of stuff going on in it in a short period of time, but I love it. The ending does feel a little wrapped up quickly, type of thing. We're like, oh, we wrote ourselves into the corner. Let's just hurry up and get it over with. Also picked up, I'm surprised I didn't own this before, but Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Got this from Best Buy also. Haven't watched this in probably 15 years, but John Hughes comedy, one of the last ones I think he made, has one of the greatest moments in film involving Steve Martin, a flight attendant, and him using the F-bomb about 30 times in one sentence without, like, taking a breath. It's amazing. No, this is not a premiere. This is actually live. Yep. I do all my pickup videos live because I hate editing the pickup videos that I do. So this is the new format I've been doing for like a year and a half, almost 2 years now. So at the end of 2020, at the end of every year, actually, I put together a list of like my favorite and least favorite movies from that year. And when I was going over the list of films released in 2020 to pick out the ones that I had seen, I realized there was a ton of stuff that I just wasn't paying attention to because the movie theaters weren't open. Couldn't go out to see anything. I just wasn't paying attention to what was being released digitally or anything like that. So I skipped over a ton of stuff. Well, I decided to rectify that at the end of 2020. And I watched like a slew of movies. I rented a ton of stuff. I probably spent like $150, $200 renting stuff on Amazon. That's how crazy I went with it. One of the ones I saw was The Hunt, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. This actually was like one of the last movies released like in the February, March area once the theaters actually shut down. And it played for like a week, and then the theaters were done. And I didn't get a chance to see it. I wanted to see it, but picture this. It's Evil Dead 2 with politics subbing in for the demons. It's like, it starts off like a serious, like you think you're going to be watching some sort of torture porn, really sadistic hunt movie, where people are hunting people. And the more the movie goes on, the sillier and sillier and sillier it gets. It is fantastic. I was laughing so hard. And then once, I think it's kind of stupid that they ruined the surprise, but they put that Hilary Swank is in this movie. She's like the villain. What is a 2-time Oscar winner doing in this? But she has a fight scene with the lead, Betty Gilpin, who's on Glow, in her kitchen. And it's like John Wick meets Martha Stewart. It is awesome. I laughed so hard. I absolutely loved it. So I had to own a copy. Got a couple of movies from Arrow Video. That's that British company that's kind of like Scream Factory. Every once in a while they release their movies in the US. Usually it's not one that I would normally want to buy, but a couple of them went on sale on Amazon, and I ordered these honestly on Friday, and they showed up yesterday, which surprised the hell out of me. One of which is like a special edition of Mallrats. This thing, I always talk about the special editions that they release. Starting here and going all the way down to here are extras. There's 2 cuts of the movie on here. There is a extended cut, a TV, well, 3 cuts, an extended cut, a TV cut, and a theatrical cut. What the hell? Tons and tons of extras. New stuff specifically is what I wanted because it has a lot of stuff, I think, with Kevin Smith talking about making part 2, or the part 2 that he wants. Yeah, the hunt is amazing. I laughed so hard. I didn't think I was going to laugh. I thought it was going to be like this gore fest snuff film. And no, it's hysterical. I loved it. Mallrats is one of my favorite Kevin Smith movies. Maybe mid-tier Kevin Smith. I think there's movies he's made that are better, but I absolutely had to get like this special edition of that. Also, one of my favorite Japanese films, Versus. It's by Ryuhei Kitamura. He directed Godzilla Final Wars, The Midnight Meat Train in the US. He did a live-action anime adaptation called Azumi, which I love. This is the first movie I saw by him, and I fell in love with his style. And then while I was watching all those movies at the end of 2020, one of the ones I rented was called The Doorman with Ruby Rose in it. I should have known if Ruby Rose is in it because she's not the best actress. But it was directed by Ryuhei Kitamura, and I was like, okay, let's see what he's doing now because I haven't seen a movie of his since probably 2012 when he did, I think it was No One Lives, I think was what it was called, which I didn't really like. And it was one of the worst things I've ever seen. It was terrible. It's like Die Hard in an apartment building that's empty with Ruby Rose instead of Bruce Willis, and it stank. It was terrible. None of his style is on display. I was like, no. But this is awesome. It's a Japanese Yakuza zombie martial arts fantasy film. Watch it. It's awesome. Okay, so when I was saying that I kind of went crazy when I got that extra paycheck in the middle of the month, one of the things I've been doing is I had gone to the Scream/Shout Factory website, and a lot of their stuff has been getting put on a moratorium. Like they're taking stuff out of circulation. They're out of print. And I managed to snag a couple after the fact on eBay. Got lucky with those, but like a lot of their older stock is going to be gone pretty soon. And I was like, you got to get these before they're gone, and then you end up paying $80, $90 for something that normally would cost you $15. So I said, now's the time. I've got the means. Let's do it. So I went to the Scream Factory website, and I think I dropped about $500. I just kept on going like, that can go in my cart. I want that. I want that. I want that. Yeah, I went crazy. So we'll start off with the ones from Shout Factory, which is like the non-horror, non-genre arm of Scream Factory. And I picked up a copy of Twins, which actually does have some extras on it, which is kind of awesome. One of my favorite movies by Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day. I thought this movie was hilarious. It's not as... last time I watched it, I didn't think it was as funny as I used to back in the day, but it's Arnold. Arnold movies are awesome to me, so I had to have it. Also picked up a copy of Cuffs with Christian Slater and Mila Jovovich. I saw this at the Dollar Theater back when it was first released, and it's Christian Slater plays like a rent-a-cop who's trying to avenge I think it was the death of his older brother, who's played by Bruce Boxleitner, Tron. And he takes over his brother's like rent-a-cop business and goes after this like evil art dealer, I think it was, to avenge his brother's death. And it's kind of like a action comedy. And I remember it being pretty funny. I haven't seen it in a long time. Freaka 4, what is up, dude? How's it going? Is Justin in here? Justin! Holy crap, I totally skipped over you. What? Welcome, dude. Also picked up one of my favorite old school comedies that I saw this movie when I was way too young. It's R-rated. It's Robert Zemeckis' first film ever. The guy who did Back to the Future. Used Cars with Kurt Russell. Yeah. It's a very racy movie about dueling used car dealerships. Kurt Russell's boss, who has an evil brother who owns a competing dealership across the street, dies, and Kurt Russell is trying to make his evil brother think that the owner of his dealership is still alive. And it's like Weekend at Bernie's at times, where they're trying to make the dead body move around like he's still alive and stuff. Because if the evil brother across the street finds out that the owner is dead at Kurt Russell's dealership, he's going to buy the lot and get the monopoly in the town, and they don't want to do that. It is really funny. There's, like I said, a lot of off-the-cuff, like racy style humor. It's old school completely, but it's funny. Also picked up Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. This is the movie where Wesley Snipes, Patrick Swayze, and John Leguizamo are in drag the whole movie, and it is really, really funny. I've been trying to find a copy of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, which is like the other drag movie that came out around the same time, which is equally as funny. It has what's his name? The guy who played Agent Smith in the Matrix films, and Terrence Stamp, and oh god, the guy from the Time Machine remake. I can't remember his name, Australian guy. But I saw this in the theater after I had bruised a rib. I was walking up the stairs at my parents' house. I slipped. I fell. My hand was in a fist, and it fell right on my chest, and then I landed on my hand, and I bruised a rib. It hurt to talk, hurt to breathe, hurt to laugh. So what do? My friends go and take me to see like this ridiculous kind of comedy movie. That's what they do. So the whole time I was trying not to laugh, because if I did, I was probably going to like wince in pain and, whatever. But yeah, the whole movie I was going like, trying not. It's really funny. I highly recommend it. It's great. I haven't watched it in a while though. Same with this Matinee. This is by Joe Dante, the guy who did Gremlins and Inner Space. Gremlins 2, The Howling. I haven't seen this in probably 15 years, but it's John Goodman owns a movie theater. They're showing like this cheesy ass black and white movie, and you get to watch that movie as well as the movie that the movie's about. How do I describe it? I'm screwing it up. You're watching the movie about John Goodman's theater and all the people that work there and all that kind of funny stuff. And then also you get to watch the movie that's being shown in the theater, and the actual entire movie within a movie is on this disc as an extra. And I cannot wait to watch it. It's called blah, blah, blah. Mant. About a man-ant. I can't wait to watch this. I haven't seen this in forever. What's up, the game room? How's it going? Welcome. And then the last one I got from Shout Factory is The Wizard. The one about the video games. Yeah, the 90-minute Super Mario Brothers 3 commercial. I saw this in the theater basically because I wanted to see what Mario Brothers 3 looked like. That's probably why every kid had dragged their parents to that movie theater back when this was first released. And all the girls were there to go and see, what's his freaking name? Oh, Jesus. Fred Savage. It's been a while. I love this cover, though. This pretty awesome. I haven't watched this in probably 2 years. We watched this for my podcast, the movie starting, I think, like 2 years ago. And it's still funny. We made fun of it a lot. It deserves it. It's pretty bad in parts. California. Yeah. But it's a good nostalgic movie for me. And now we get into all the Scream Factory stuff. And this is where I went nuts. I bought a lot. Like almost everything I saw. I own a lot of stuff from Scream and Shout Factory already, but I was just kind of like, these are going to go out. A lot of these are going to be going out of print. These are some of the older movies that they have. So you better get them while you can. Dizzy, what is up? Welcome. So here we go. Phantom of the Paradise. Geez, all these movies are still wrapped, so you can't really see. Phantom of the Paradise. It's by Brian De Palma, guy who directed Carrie and Dressed to Kill and Body Double. Mission to Mars. Black Dahlia? No. I had never seen this before. This was probably one of the few movies of his I had never seen until, not the podcast that I currently do where we recorded commentary track. It was the previous one that I used to do in the early 2010s where one of our guests requested to watch this. And I was like, hey, this is the chance I can get to watch this Brian De Palma movie I've never seen. And it is hysterically funny. It's a musical take on Phantom of the Opera, but it's like a rock opera. It has one of the worst songs I've ever heard in it, sung by Jessica Harper, where she does like this chicken dance the whole time, and it is like hysterically funny because how bad it is. Oh god, yeah, Carlito's Way. Yep. And it's bad in a good way. I really enjoyed it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it. Here's another cheesy one from my past: Night of the Demons. This one is by what's his name? Kevin Tenney, who directed Witchboard, which is one of my favorite cheesy horror movies from the 80s. A bunch of college students go to like this party in this supposed haunted house. And the girl who's hosting the party is like this outcast girl, and she does some like ritual or something, and it ends up waking up all these demons that were like in the basement, and they possess everybody. The thing that I remember the most out of this movie is the wraparound story about the old man who hates little kids and is always like trying to put razor blades in the apples that he hands out for trick-or-treating. And he kind of gets his in the end, and it's really funny and gross when he gets it. He gets what's coming to him. There's a scene where Linnea Quigley, who's like a scream queen from the 80s, is possessed, and she's got a tube of lipstick. Her breasts are exposed. She starts drawing little circles on her boobs, and then she sticks that tube of lipstick right through her nipple. Like her boob absorbs it. It's weird. It makes no sense, but I laughed so hard because of how off the wall it was. But love it. It's goofy. I don't like any of the sequels, though. Same with this one. The sequels are terrible, but I had to get Pumpkinhead. Stan Winston, the guy who does the makeup, he died maybe 10 years ago. Did makeup for the creature effects for Terminator, Aliens, Terminator 2. Every movie you've probably ever seen. Directed this. He created the creature and all that. Lance Henriksen's in it. His young son gets run over by a bunch of like city kids while they're putzing around with their dirt bikes, their motorcycles, like their motocross bikes, around his gas station, and they accidentally hit his kid and kill him, and he wants revenge. So he goes to this old crone that lives out in the middle of nowhere, says, I want you to help me kill these people. She resurrects this creature, Pumpkinhead, who goes after all of them, and every time it kills one of the kids, Lance Henriksen starts like becoming more and more animalistic, and it's a thing. It's really cool. It's really short, but I enjoy liking it a lot. But the sequels are just like, no. Here's one I haven't watched in like forever, but I remember enjoying it. It's called Screamers. It's by Christian Duguay, who directed the first two Scanners sequels. He's a Canadian director. Peter Weller is in it, and Jennifer Rubin, who was in A Nightmare on Elm Street 3. She was the girl with the mohawk and the switchblades. takes place on, I can't remember what moon it is. Sirius 6B outpost, whatever. There's a war going on between two mining factions, and one of them had created these like things called screamers, which are like these little robots that burrow under the surface, and when they get close to you, they turn into like a mine and they blow you up. Well, they've evolved. Now they look human. And they're hunting all the humans on the planet, no matter what faction they are. And it's pretty cool because it becomes like the Thing type of scenario where everyone becomes paranoid of each other because now that they can look human, how do I know you're not one of those screamer things? How do I know you're not? Type. It's really cool. Has some really bad CGI in it, like really bad, especially when the escape pod thing launches at the end and kills the final screamer character. It looks horrible. It's bad. Anyway. The Seventh Sign with Demi Moore and Michael Biehn. I remember this movie got a ton of play in my house when I was a kid. Yeah, it's going to be going out of print pretty soon, so you might want to jump on it. Just go to the Scream Factory website. I think it was like $15. But yeah, Seventh Sign got a lot of play in my house. My mom is Catholic, and the whole God scenario going on in here where God is passing judgment on humanity, and like these 7 signs are going to lead to the destruction of humanity unless someone sacrifices themselves to save everybody. And it's kind of crazy. I remember like my mom just blubbering every time this movie ended, just like like ugly crying. I remember being pretty good, but I probably haven't seen it in 20 years. So I got it for like $15, and I was like, I need to give this another chance. Like I said, I haven't seen it forever. So that's my opportunity. I also picked up one of those notorious slasher movies from the 80s, Sleepaway Camp. I had never seen this until probably 2012 or 2013. I knew of the twist ending, just never actually saw the movie. And when I finally did see it, it was pretty awesome. Standard slasher movie, but actually this stars a bunch of kids instead of like the Friday the 13th movies are usually just about the counselors. This one's actually about the kids at the camp getting killed. And it has a pretty effed up twist ending. Don't watch any of the sequels. They are all awful, no matter if they're the canon ones or the non-canon ones. They're all just... This is the only one worth watching. Some of the kills are pretty good, especially like... I remember like when I finally saw it, the girl getting the hot... or the hair curler up her chotch. No. I was like, no. No. Watched this last night because I haven't seen this since the theater, and I remember liking it when I saw it. I watched it last night, and I was like, it's all right. But Urban Legend, this was like hot on the heels of Scream. Everyone was calling it the big Scream ripoff instead of it being a self-referential, self-mocking horror movie. This was all about a killer on a campus of a college, killing people according to like the urban legends. Like you never eat Pop Rocks and drink a Coke afterwards. Your stomach's gonna explode. There's someone in your back seat and you just don't see him. Kind of stuff. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Oh, the dog in the microwave, all that kind of stuff. It is fun. It's surprisingly well acted. I totally forgot who the hell was in this movie. I remember Alicia Witt, who played Paul Atreides' sister in the original Dune that came out in '84. I remember that she was in it, and I remember that Rebecca Gayheart was in it. And I totally forgot that Jared Leto was in this. And Joshua Jackson from Dawson's Creek, and Tara Reid, and Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor on Smallville. Like Robert Englund, I totally forgot he was in this also. It's got a great cast. It's just I wish it was kind of a better movie. It is edited horribly. The editing in it is really, really bad. But whatever. I'm glad I have it. I remember seeing that in the theater. I saw the first sequel in the theater, didn't like that at all. And then like a third movie came out that on home video, and I was like, no, I'm not even going to bother. This one is the one when I saw that they had a copy, I didn't even realize that Scream Factory had released this. When I saw that they had it, I was like, oh yes, double click. It's called The Manitou. I saw this at the Music Box of Horrors, the 24-hour film festival that happens at the Music Box Theater near me in Chicago. This was the first movie they showed 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. My friend Jeremiah that I do the Movies Starting podcast with, was there with me to watch this. What's his name? Tony Curtis is in it. Jamie Lee Curtis's dad, Michael and Sarah, Susan Strasberg, and Burgess Meredith has like a cameo for about 7 minutes. And it is the craziest, nuttiest cameo you'll ever see in your life. So the gist of it is this young girl starts to develop a tumor on the back of her neck. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then once they find out what it is, it turns out to not be a tumor. It's a evil Native American shaman who is resurrecting himself through this woman's body, and it's manifesting as a tumor. It just keeps growing. And eventually, this little person, medicine man, evil medicine man, comes out of her neck and starts warping reality and all this kind of stuff. Possesses people, possesses laser guns. There's like a when they try to remove the tumor with like a laser in a hospital, it possesses the laser and makes it like shoot the doctors. Possesses an old lady, and she like throws herself down the stairs. And then the grand finale is the girl that the tumor the tumor grew on. Because the monster came out of her, she now has like sort of control over it, and she's butt naked, and tasty hoots save the day, according to Jeremiah. It's the crazy, like it's one of those movies you wonder how it ever got made. Apparently it's based on a book, but we were laughing the whole time. It is like so awful that it's kind of awesome, and I can't wait to watch it again. It's amazing. Adam the Woo? No, I'm not. I will not be buying the Sleepaway Camp 2 or 3 special editions. Actually, those are out of print, but I couldn't stand them. They showed part 2 at one of those music boxes of horrors. They showed it at like 2 a.m. and I was like, this is a good opportunity to take a nap. And I just slept through it. Here's one of my favorite horror movies from, I think it's from the 70s. Yeah, 73. The Legend of Hell House. Roddy McDowell's in this. It's probably one of the most effective haunted house movies I've ever seen, even though it's kind of older. It's just, they go for the creep factor, and it just never really stops. I mean, it's just like, once the main characters get to the house, they're like a bunch of psychics, and one character's like an empath, and they're trying to like exorcise this house, and it's like, no, you are not, and it just throws everything at them. It is nuts. I love it. I absolutely love it. It is fantastic. I need to watch it again. I haven't watched this in probably 10 years. I haven't watched this in a long time either, but it's called Session 9. This is by Brad Anderson. He directed The Mechanic with Christian Bale, the movie where he lost all that weight and he looked like a skeleton. I think he did this before that. I can't remember what else he directed. He just directed a bunch of stuff since then. But it's got David Caruso in it, and I'm not a fan of David Caruso, except in this movie. Why? Well, the story's about a bunch of like construction workers who are hired to go to this abandoned mental institution to remove the asbestos because people are gonna renovate it. People have bought the property, they're gonna renovate it. But all the construction workers start slowly going crazy while they're in the place. It's like all the people that went mad in the place are like slowly influencing all of the people, and they start turning on each other, and everyone starts like trying to hurt each other, kill each other. It gets nuts. There's one point where David Caruso's boss, who was this older actor, what's his name? Stephen Gevedon or something? Not Paul Gilfoyle. I can't remember the guy's name. It's an older British guy. He accuses David Caruso's character of something, and it's turned into a meme. There's GIFs of this out there of David Caruso, and he's like standing away from the camera, and the camera like moves really close into his face when he does it, but he like points at the guy and goes, "Fuck you." And the camera like zooms on his face as he does it. We laughed so hard when we first watched this. I saw this on video. I rented it from a Blockbuster. And when he did that, like me and my friend Bill, we had tears in our eyes. We're laughing so hard. But the movie itself is actually a really effective, like slow burn thriller. I really, really enjoyed it. So when I saw this, I had to get it. Also picked up Bubba Hotep, Bruce Campbell, again, where Bruce Campbell plays Elvis, not dead, living in a retirement home. Ozzie Davis is there, and he thinks he's JFK. He's like, yeah, they took out a piece of my brain. Ton of stuff. Elvis has a boil on his junk, and he keeps on telling everyone in earshot, I got a boil on my pecker, man. And a ancient mummy comes to the retirement home to eat the souls of the convalescents. And Elvis and JFK ain't having it. It is really funny. It's really offbeat, kind of silly. I think it's based on a book also. But I saw this in the theater. I had to go way out of my way to like an art house theater, and I think it was Highland Park, to go and see this. And I really enjoyed it. Don Coscarelli directed this, guy who made all the Phantasm movies and the Beastmaster. I loved it. I haven't seen it in probably 10 years, or no, probably 15 years. The thing that makes me laugh the most about it is my uncle, my mother's brother, is an Elvis impersonator by trade. That's like he makes his money like that. And every time I bring this movie up to him, he gets like, he gets like beyond mad, like screaming at you, mad. Don't you ever talk about that movie in my presence type of mad. I do it on purpose just to get his goat. I need to get a drink. The throat's going dry, everybody. I'll be right back. Okay. Also got Motel Hell. Just watched this for the movie starting podcast. My friend James Azriel, who is a musician, a friend of my brother's. He's worked on some of my film projects. He's worked on some of my brother's film projects. Wanted to watch this, and I hadn't seen this since probably the late 80s. It was showing on a UHF station, and I thought I was getting like an edited version of the movie because it's about a husband and wife, kind of like, from the American Gothic painting, who own like a meat packing farm or a meat farm. And turns out they're turning people into the meat and the sausages that they make, that their award-winning sausages are made out of people. It's not necessarily gory. It's honestly not gory at all. It's kind of like a dark, like a black comedy almost. John Ratzenberger's in this. That what they do is they kidnap like hippies and anyone that comes on their property, anyone that they don't like. They drug them, kidnap them, and then they bury them up to their necks in their garden. Let them get a little skinny, from starvation, and then they hypnotize them and then tie their necks around with a rope to their tractor and then rip their heads off. But they don't really show it happen at all. And it's kind of funny. And I realized when I was watching this for the podcast that the version I saw on television didn't really have to be edited because there was nothing really graphic in here at all. It's just implied. So, yeah, it's actually pretty funny. Still holds up. Had to get that because that's, I think, one of the next ones that they're going to put on moratorium. Picked up a copy of Cobra, Stallone, Canon Films. Yeah, Cobra and Over the Top were the movies that Stallone did with Canon Films, like the schlock company that made the Break-In movies and Masters of the Universe. We watched this for the podcast like 2 years ago with Power Metal Gamer, and I remembered like how badly butchered this movie had been in post-production. Like it was supposed to be a lot longer, a lot more graphic, a lot of plot and character was deleted, but the form that it's in is actually really entertaining. It's just real fast-paced because of the editing job. I wish there was like deleted scenes on here, but I do not believe there are any. It would be cool though to see what was left out. But like, I want to say a good 45 minutes of this movie is missing. Yeah, Cobra's fun. I like it a lot. I don't like Over the Top all that much, but Cobra is like the Stallone Canon film that I can watch pretty much anytime and get something, like giggle at it at least. I own the first movie in this series. I had only seen this sequel once, probably when it first came out on home video, and I don't remember liking it. And then I watched it on Amazon Prime. They were streaming it for free if you had the Amazon Prime. And I watched it again. And I was like, it's not half bad. It's actually pretty decent. So when I saw they were selling it on Scream Factory's website, I got a copy of The Gate 2. Gate 1 is one of my favorite horror movies. One of the only horror movies I was allowed to see in the theater because it was rated PG-13. So my parents were like, it's all right. We'll take them to the dollar theater to see it. So if they run screaming, me and my brother run out of that theater screaming. They only wasted $2. What was it? Crime is the disease and I'm the cure. I just remember, the female cop who is like the insider. Like the moment you see her show up, she's the guy giving in all the intel to the bad guys. Don't hide it or anything. Stupid director. Guy who directed this directed Rambo First Blood Part 2, which is why I think Stallone is in it because they enjoyed working together. But whatever, Gate 2. Takes place like 6 or 7 years after the first movie. Stephen Dorff's character isn't in it. Terry, the demon-worshipping metalhead from the first movie, is the only character that returned. He is still practicing demonology because he learns that the minion characters, the little mini demons from the first movie, if you capture one, you can convince them to grant your wishes. So he tries to bring one back because he wants his dad, who's an alcoholic, to get his old job back. He was an airline pilot, and he's been unemployed because he's a drunk. So he wants to grant his dad this wish. He can get his job back, get his life back on track. A bunch of local punks interrupt his ritual. They end up all making wishes too, and shit just goes bad from there. Yep. It's a lot of fun. Pamela Siegel's in this. Pamela Adlon now. is her married name. But I had a crush on her like you would not believe back in the day. But it's actually a pretty fun movie. Not nearly as good as the first. Same director, Tibor Takacs, came back to direct it. Like I said, it's not nearly as bad. Some of the acting in it is like craptastic beyond belief. But it's not too bad. I enjoyed it when I watched it again. Got a copy of The Craft. Fairuza Balk, Robin Tunney, Nev Campbell, Rachel True. Yes. Coven movie that I saw in the theater when it was first released, and I absolutely love it. Still holds up, I think. I just watched the sequel also, The Craft Legacy, which is not a good movie. More like a setup for a franchise than an actual film, because absolutely nothing goes on in that movie, even though David Duchovny's in it. But I've always been a fan of this one. All four of the main actresses are great. Fairuza Balk just goes off the rails, and she turns into like Khan from Star Trek 2, just eating or chewing all the scenery. It's great. But I absolutely loved it, so I had to get a copy of that. And I was lucky that I actually got one with the slipcase, or the slipcover for it. One of my favorite horror movies of all time. Not really a horror movie. It's kind of like a horror sci-fi comedy. Night of the Creeps. Absolutely love this movie. I had a film festival at my place when I first moved into this apartment. So it was like in 2009-ish. Where I showed like a bunch of offbeat horror comedy movies. And this was the one that got the best response out of everybody. Like everybody was laughing. Everybody wanted a copy of their own when it was over. So like an alien experiment crashes on Earth by a college campus, like back in the 50s. It's this canister. It has these slugs in it that go into your mouth and like incubate in your brain and multiply. And then when there's no more room to grow, they rip out of your head and go and look for another host and just constantly repeat the cycle. And then there's a kid that gets infested back in the 50s. His body's found. They freeze him. A bunch of modern 80s modern kids break into this lab where the body is being held for like a frat prank and let the body out. And then he lets the experiment loose and it goes all over the campus. It is hysterically funny. Tom Atkins is in this. God amongst actors. Has some of the greatest lines in film history in this movie. It is funny. It's graphic, but not like gross. It's kind of like funny gross, but I love it. It's an absolutely fantastic horror sci-fi comedy. I can watch that movie any day of the week. It's great. Yep, it does. I also picked up the original My Bloody Valentine. This is relatively new, I do believe, through Scream Factory. This is the Canadian slasher movie that kind of got a lot of crap back in the day because it was considered way too graphic and had a lot of the gore cut out, especially like a kill where the minor character grabs a woman and like she's in like a shower and he puts her head through like it was like a really thin shower head and he like puts her head through it and the shower head comes out her mouth and is spraying blood and water out. I remember watching the documentary and how they did that effect. It was pretty cool. I love the sequel or the remake that came out in 3D like in 2010 or 2009, 2010. I absolutely loved it, but I'd never actually seen the original before. Got around to finally watching it and I absolutely loved it. It's a very well-made movie, just with a lot of really crappy local Canadian actors. But it's a lot of fun for a slasher movie. I enjoyed a lot, which is why I picked it up. And it has two versions of the movie on it, I think. Yeah, the theatrical version and the uncut. And the uncut version is the version to watch. This is also a newer one that I had to get while I was there, and that's Escape from L.A. January is John Carpenter's birthday month, and Scream Factory every January has a sale on all the John Carpenter movies that they have the rights to and have released like discs of. And this was the only one that I hadn't bought yet from them. It just, like I said, just recently came out, so they discounted it by about $10. And I was like, yeah, sure. Not as good as the original Escape from New York, but Escape from LA is still pretty cool. I remember back in the day, I remember seeing it in the theater opening day. My friend Charlie, called out of work. We played hooky from work to go and see it. And it's kind of like watching the first movie all over again, just with an LA coat of paint on it instead of it all being about New York. But I didn't realize how satirical it was being because I had never been to LA before. Then after going to LA for 2 years in a row to visit my brother during Christmas time, I kind of understood what they were talking about. And of course, you learn things as you are growing up. I mean, this movie came out in 96? I want to say. Yeah, 96. I was 21 when that came out. So I hadn't learned a lot about the world. I hadn't really been anywhere yet. So I didn't really know. But now I find this movie like really, really funny. And like normally John Carpenter movies are a little prophetic, especially like They Live. this said a lot of stuff or talked about a lot of stuff that ended up happening down the line. But it's a great, not as great as Escape from LA or Escape from New York, but it is a great movie in its own right. Also picked up 13 Ghosts. This one is also pretty brand new through them. I have not seen this since the theater. I remember Justin Boffman, if he's still here. We saw this in the theater. I think I saw this with some friends and him. It's a remake of an old William Castle horror movie. There was this company that was around in the late 90s, I think started in 99 and went until like the mid 2000s, where it was designed to remake all of the old William Castle movies. It started off with House on Haunted Hill, and then they did 13 Ghosts, and there's one other one, I think Gothica or something they did, and then they kind of started to branch out on their own, and none of those movies made any money, so they kind of like called it quits. I want to say Gothica was the last one that they made. They also did Ghost Ship, which is a brand new movie through them that I just picked up. So these two are the two William Castle movies. I also have the Scream Factory version of The House on Haunted Hill, the remake of that. All of these movies are pretty fun. The only thing that gets me about 13 Ghosts, well, it's like this rich dude wants to live forever, and he has to collect 13 ghosts. Each of them has like a title, and it's all about the way that they died, is where their title comes from, and he has to like combine them. And then if he sacrifices himself in this ritual that includes all the ghosts, he will become immortal. And he's built this house out of glass that is basically the ritual. It has to take place in there. He's designed it to have the ritual take place inside. It's nuts. It's got a pretty good cast. Tony Shalhoub is in it. Who else? Tony Shalhoub, M. Beth Davids, who was in Army of Darkness, Matthew Lillard, Shannon Elizabeth, and F. Murray Abraham. Salieri from Amadeus. It's really fun. It's really gory. It has a great kill that involves a guy standing in the path of a glass door that slams on him this way, and he's like his front half just slides down the door. It's really loud. Like the entire movie is like just rumbling bass, and every time something happens, it's just like blaringly loud. And I remember it being like that in the theater. I thought on home video it would calm down a little bit. No, it is deafening. I had to keep lowering my volume and raising my volume and lowering my volume and raising my volume. It was driving me crazy. But it is a fun, really gory horror movie. Yeah, Bruce Campbell playing the Surgeon General of LA, where he had like he was plastic surgery nightmare. His like face is all angular and shit. It cracked me up. Ghost Ship it's fun. The story isn't the greatest because it doesn't make it's like leading up to something that you think is going to be kind of epic, and then you're given this exposition scene out of nowhere that doesn't really explain much of anything, and it just confuses you even more, and then it just ends. And I remember that is what kills this movie for me, but everything up until that point is great because this has a great cast. It has Juliana Margulies, Carl Urban from the Lord of the Rings movies, Dredd, Bones from the new Star Trek movies, Ron Eldard, Desmond Harrington, Isaiah Washington, Gabriel Byrne. It has a great cast, and you can tell they all like working with each other because like the characters are very, very likable, and every time that they were like playing off of each other, I thought it was great. And then like the exposition dump happens, which is set to a very cool song, I will admit. And it just kind of like goes, oh, I forgot there was like a ghosty thing happening in this movie, right? But it has a great opening kill scene where a bunch of people on the deck of this cruise ship are killed by a wire that goes right across the dance floor and like cuts everybody in half. Yeah. But it's fun, like I said, until like the last 20 minutes, and then it kind of falls apart. It feels rushed. Like they didn't know how to end it. And I think they did have to reshoot the ending. I think that's why. And then the last movie I have from Scream Factory is Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. I saw this in the theater back in the day. This came out like in 1990, I want to say. Yeah, 1990. That was when I was able to see horror movies. And this was one of the first ones I saw in a theater. And it's like Creepshow or Cat's Eye, where it's like an anthology movie, a bunch of different stories in one film. There's 4, I want to say. There's a wraparound with Debbie Harry and Joey Lawrence's little brother. No, or is it Joey? No, it's not Joey Lawrence. No, it's Joey Lawrence's brother. Whoa. who has been captured by Deborah Harry. She's going to cook him for dinner for her friends. And to delay her doing that, he reads the fables, like the stories in this like book she's given him to occupy his time while he's waiting to die. And like the stories are, one of them has blah 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 David Johansen in it, who's an assassin who's hired to kill a cat or this cat that is like who is staked a claim in this rich dude's house and is like killing all the people in the house, and you don't know why. Radon Chong and James Remar are in another one, which is about a gargoyle that is after James Remar, like a gargoyle that comes to life and kills people. And the other one was Christian Slater, Julianne Moore, and Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi sicks a mummy on Christian Slater and Julianne Moore for screwing him over back in the day. And it's really funny. It's good. It has a lot of really cool kills. The acting's actually pretty decent. It's just like amateur hour directing wise, I want to say, and the music is kind of terrible. But I remember I love these anthology horror movies, so that one is one of my favorites. Creepshow is definitely way better. And then I had talked about that Friday the 13th box set that I had bought through Scream Factory a long time ago, maybe like 2 or 3 streams ago, that came with every Friday the 13th movie ever made in it, and that there was problems with certain discs. The Friday the 13th Part 3, the 3D version of Part 3, one part of the movie wasn't in 3D. Supposedly, Jason Goes to Hell. There was like a shot of someone getting their arm broken, missing from the movie. And in Jason X or Jason 10, when Jason is on the holodeck and he's killing those campers in their sleeping bags, when he's hitting them up against the tree trying to kill them, they're supposed to be like moaning and laughing and whatever. And there's no sound during that scene, so the sound is screwed up. They replaced all those damaged discs, or the discs, with new ones. And I ended up putting in a replacement order, and they came in. So I've got all those replaced now, so my collection is complete. Now we can talk about the 3D Blu-rays. Picked up. I haven't seen this probably since I was like 6 years old. And it's called It Came from Outer Space. My dad had recorded this off of some broadcast on television back in like 1981, I want to say. But this movie's from the 50s. And I remember it was like an alien invasion. It was like a huge eyeball monster alien thing that crashes in like some small town. And I don't remember if it was killing people or what. Like I said, I haven't seen it since I was like 6. But it has a 2D and a 3D version of the movie in it, or on it. And I wanted to get it for my 3D Blu-ray collection. So I had to get it, even though it's probably going to suck. But I got it for like $5 off of eBay. So why not? And then the other 3D Blu-rays I got these at the Exchange down the street from me. I went over there Friday, not this past Friday, the Friday before, and I got the first 2 Toy Story movies in 3D. Thrilled as hell. These are the only 2 Toy Story movies I like. So I was really thrilled. I got these for like $10 each, so that is pretty awesome. I can't wait to watch those in 3D. I remember I think Part 1 actually got a theatrical release in 3D after the fact. I can't remember though. And now we're going to go into the 4K UHDs. Went to my half-price books a couple of weeks ago and found a 4K of the extended version or extended edition of The Martian. I haven't watched this since it came out in the theater. But I remember enjoying it. Matt Damon on Mars, trying to survive, eating potatoes, nothing but potatoes. How he did not become a fat piece of crap up there, I don't know. Just carbon out all the time. Oh, yeah, I love watching my 3D Blu-rays, dude. So I found this, and I haven't seen the extended edition, so I'm really looking forward to watching that, because I haven't seen it since the theater, so it's been a while. Got these next couple ones at Best Buy. They had these on sale. Got Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the latest Quentin Tarantino movie. Saw this in the theater. I enjoyed it to an extent. It's just really effing long. Kind of pointless for a little while. But that ending makes it all worthwhile. So this is another one of those like revisionist history movies by Quentin Tarantino, kind of like Inglourious Bastards, where it involves a historical event and then he screws around with what really happened and kind of puts a twist on it. Same thing here, but it's all about the what's his name? The guy with the swastika on his head. Jesus. I can't remember the name of that murderer. God damn it. Charles. Shit. You guys know what I'm talking about. That cultist, Charles whatever, how he kills that, was it Tate, Karen Tate or whatever her name is, and then it all leads up to that, and then the twist happens, and it's like, holy shit. But like I said, this is like almost like a 3.5 hour movie, if I remember right. It is just super freaking long. Brad Pitt and DiCaprio and Margot Robbie in it. It's fun. Charles Manson, that's it. Charles Manson. All about those Charles Manson murders. It's good. It's not my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie, like at all. It's probably like in the middle somewhere. But yeah, I found it for like $15, so I said, sure, why not? But this one I absolutely had to have because this made my top 10 movies of 2020. And that's the Invisible Man remake with Elizabeth Moss. I wanted to see this in the theater. It had been playing for a few weeks when COVID hit, and then all the theaters shut down, so I didn't get a chance to see it. I did see Bad Boys for Life. Didn't get a chance to see this, though. And then someone told me a few months back that it was streaming on HBO Max or HBO Go. I think it was at the time when I watched it. I was like, oh, shit, let's do that. And I watched it, and it is really awesome. Like, it is legit kind of scary. Elizabeth Moss sells all the ridiculous stuff that's going on in the movie. She is a great actress. And I am really looking forward to the sequel that they are making right now. Absolutely loved it. It is great. Cool twist on the Invisible Man. Originally, that was supposed to be part of the Dark Universe. The Dark, what was it? The Universal's Dark Monsters or Dark Universe series, like with the Mummy with Tom Cruise was the first. That was originally developed to be a remake of the original Invisible Man movie with Johnny Depp playing the Invisible Man. And then when the Mummy bombed, they were like, yeah, well, we'll just have to retool all the work we've done into something else. And then Lee Winnell, who wrote the first 3 Saw movies and directed Upgrade and the third Insidious movie, stepped in and was like, I can probably make that movie. I could probably make an Invisible Man movie for you for $10 million. And he did. And it's great. He has a career forever now. When I was at the Exchange, I also picked up a copy of Bohemian Rhapsody. I haven't watched this since the theater, but I saw it when my brother came to visit for Thanksgiving, I think it was, or Christmas. We all went and saw it in the theater, and I absolutely loved it. Rami Malek is a perfect Freddie Mercury. And yeah, the history of certain things is screwed up, and the timeline is messed up a little bit for when like certain songs came out in relation to each other. But I thought it was great. Did I think it deserved to be like the best picture of the year? Probably not. But I thought it was a great movie. Definitely Rami Malek deserved to be the best actor of the year because of this. He is like, I never saw him. I only saw Freddie Mercury. It's great. And I'm a big Queen fan, so I had to have that. I also replaced my regular Blu-ray version of 300 with a 4K version. Got this at Target for like $15. I still like the sequel more than this, but I absolutely had to own this. I mean, I absolutely love 300. It is a fantastic visual movie. Like, you want to, not about plot, it's about action and visuals, and the visuals are outstanding. Like, this movie, everybody was copying it after it came out, the visual style. What's his name? Zack Snyder. This was the movie that put him on the map. I mean, he got Watchmen after this, and you know, the DC movies and everything. I mean, he is a visual stylist like no other. I cannot wait to see his cut of Justice League. Let's see. Yeah, should we go with the comic book movies? Yeah, let's do that. Picked up some of those DC direct-to-video movies also on 4K. I found this at the Exchange. Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Haven't had a chance to watch this yet. When it comes to these DC movies, they're released direct-to-video, so it's not like I could have really seen them. I'd have to either get it from a Redbox or illegally download it somewhere because these aren't streaming anywhere right off the bat. So if I find them, I buy them because for the most part, they're pretty good. I want to say like 80% of the time, they're pretty awesome. There's that 20% every once in a while. I hear the next one that I have is not the greatest. But I haven't seen this one yet. I think this is actually based on a comic book miniseries. It has Lobo in it, which is great. Finally see Lobo in one of these movies. The one that I hear is not the greatest is the newest one. It just came out, and I found it at Target, and that's Batman Soul of the Dragon. This is one of those Elsewhere movies where it's like an alternate timeline. They released a handful of these. Superman Red Sun is one of them, where like, what if Superman, when he was coming to Earth from Krypton back in the day, landed in Russia instead of the U.S. And it's like that scenario plays out. I have another one where it's Batman in the Victorian era, and he's taking on Jack the Ripper. This one is like a 1970s kung fu movie, like Enter the Dragon with Batman in it. It sounded really cool. And I mean, the cover alone, I was just like, holy crap, that's awesome. Kung Fu movie. I mean, it even has like Jim. Oh, God, what was the name of that guy from Jim? What's his face? I can't remember. But I mean, Kung Fu. I mean, Enter the Dragon with Batman in it. I had to see it. Jason of Corpse Plug Gaming, when I showed him that, I was like, hey, dude, this just came out. And he like ran out and bought it. And he was like, it's not the greatest. You missed a lot. All movies, dude. I have been talking about nothing but horror movies for the last hour. This is one of the movies I watched when I was on my little movie kick at the end of 2020, and I put it on my top movies of 2020 also. Love and Monsters. This actually got a theatrical release like during the summer, but since the theaters weren't really open, you couldn't see it unless you were going to like a drive-in or something. My brother actually saw this in a drive-in in LA, or right outside LA. But I did watch this on Amazon. I rented it for like $6 or $7, and it's pretty awesome. It's like a comet is coming to Earth. It's going to crash, kill everybody. We launch a bunch of nukes at it, destroy the comet, but all the fallout falls back to Earth. Any creature that's cold-blooded mutates into like a giant monster, so humanity moves underground. And it takes place like 7 or 8 years after that happened. And Dylan, what's his name? Dylan O'Brien from the Maze Runner movies. His girlfriend, he separates from his girlfriend. They end up going to 2 different bunkers. He finds out like 7 years later that the bunker that his girlfriend is in is like 80 miles away. The only thing is the surface is covered with all these creatures. Nobody goes out there. They always die. And he's like, hell with it. I love her. I'm going to go find her and rescue her. And ends up making the trek the 80 miles to go and rescue her. And it turns into like a really funny action science fiction fantasy movie. And it's really, really cool. A lot of really cool world building. Michael Rooker shows up at one point. But the world that the surface is really interesting. And the creature designs are great. CGI is awesome. Jim Kelly. Thank you, Reggie. Thank you very much. Jim Kelly. He's awesome. That's he's one of the reasons to watch Enter the Dragon besides Bruce Lee. Jim Kelly is great. I still need to watch that other movie he made back in the day, that other Kung Fu movie. But I highly recommend Love and Monsters. It's really well made, really well acted, really well thought out. And it's really funny, too. I mean, I absolutely loved it. I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't enjoy it. That actually just showed up today. We're in the middle of freaking snowpocalypse right now. It's like 12 inches here in Chicago. And I just happened to check my email like an hour before the stream was going to begin. And it said, Amazon says, the package has been delivered. And I was like, what? And it was that. It was Love and Monsters. And then the last Ultra HD 4K that I bought is Jaws. And it has a really awesome lenticular cover. You can see it kind of moving. The teeth are moving around a little bit. One of my favorite films of all time. Absolutely had to have this. Comes with a book also, which is like a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff and stories and script pages and stuff about the actors and the director and the effects. And it has all the same extras as the Blu-ray. I do not know if they have been upgraded to a 4K or not, but it does have that feature-length documentary. The Shark is still working, I think it's called. But it's one of my favorite movies. I absolutely had to upgrade. What's up, Tiger Shot? Welcome. What do I use as a 4K player? I use my Xbox One X. I don't have a standalone player. I do want to get like a region-free 4K and Blu-ray player so I can actually get like British stuff from overseas because, like I said, Arrow Video releases a bunch of really awesome movie box sets, but they only come out in the UK. A lot of them don't come out over here. So I want to get that. There's like a box set of the first 8 seasons of Red Dwarf that's only been released in the UK that I want to get. So yeah, eventually I'm gonna eventually get one of those. They're kind of expensive. The last one I looked at was like $400. John Saxon refused to be killed off, of course, because he's John Saxon. He has to fight Freddy Krueger in A Nightmare on Elm Street. Come on, even though he doesn't. So now we can get to the games, but first, intermission. How's everybody doing tonight? Glad to see that there's so many people here. This is awesome. Okay, so now we can get into the games. I got some decent retro stuff. So there is a Twitch streamer. He's kind of semi-retired right now. Goes by Sir HC Man or Cirque Man on Twitch. On Twitch. And I follow him on Twitter. I keep getting Twitch and Twitter mixed up. I don't know why. I follow him on Twitter. And he recently posted a picture of like his game collection. Like he actively is going after like as many Sega Master System and I think Genesis games and NES games and whatever. And he showed off this Master System collection of his, and I was like, when did these games come out? There were games I did not know even came out. Well, in the US, we didn't get a whole lot. A lot of them were released in the UK and in frickin' Brazil, of all places. And since I have a Retro Freak with the Game Gear / Master System adapter that can play any region game I want, I was like, I think I need to get some of those. So I've gotten no movie night tonight. I stopped doing that because nobody was showing up. So I went to eBay and I started looking up these games that I saw in his collection. Some of them are really pricey. Some of them are not. But I did pick up quite a few awesome ones. And one of them is Impossible Mission. This, I do believe, is a British game. I remember this came out for the Commodore 64, and a friend of mine had it, and I remember really liking it. It's kind of like playing elevator action a little bit with a little spy bent to it, like your character's jumping all over the place. I haven't really played it yet, but I checked it out when I first got it, when it first showed up, to make sure it worked, and it did. So I played it for maybe 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, I need to come back and spend some more time with it. So absolutely thrilled about that. I'll put that on here. Also, because I'm a freaking Mortal Kombat fan, I got the original Mortal Kombat on the Master System. And it even has a parental guidance advised sticker on it. It's basically a port of the Game Gear game, which means it's choppy and the animation is not great and the sound effects are non-existent and it controls like poop because you only have 2 buttons. But as a Mortal Kombat fan, I absolutely had to get it. So, yeah, there's also Mortal Kombat 2, which is a little pricey. And then Mortal Kombat 3 is like a $350 game. What? Probably didn't get a whole lot of copies made. But I was thrilled to get a Mortal Kombat game. I can say I own one for an 8-bit frickin' system that isn't the Game Gear or the Game Boy. Also picked up, I watched the Renaissance stream this on Twitch, and he said that this is actually better than the Genesis version. And that is Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse. And I was watching him stream it, and it looked like a lot of fun. It was like a downgraded version of the Genesis game, but honestly, he seemed like he was having more fun playing that than the Genesis one, because I think he had streamed that just before he played this. So I got it pretty cheap. Can't wait to try it out. Platformer with Mickey Mouse. I love the one on the Genesis, so why not? Oh, I'm talking like the last 2 that I did. Nobody was there. It was just me when I showed Body Bags and what was the last one? Escape from New York. Also picked up Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars got a game on the Sega Master System, and it is basically just a port of the NES game, which did get ported to the Game Gear, and I do believe the Game Gear version is what this is. And it's, standard platformer, a couple of, what is it, first-person shooting levels when you're in the Millennium Falcon, but it's the NES game. The music is a little bit different. Honestly, the music is better in that than on the Nintendo. And the last one for the Master System that I got is Master of Darkness. I absolutely, like when I said I'll need to get some of these, overseas Master System games, this was the one I was actively looking for. This is like a ripoff of Castlevania. I own it for the Game Gear. On the Game Gear, it's called Vampire Master of Darkness. But when it came out for the Master System, it was just called Master of Darkness. This is a better version of the game. It's not as choppy as the Game Gear version. But didn't find this on eBay. On eBay, this is going for well over $100. I got this off of a guy on Facebook in a Sega Master System collecting group. And he lives in the UK, and he was trying to get rid of all of his games. And he had some that I wanted outside of this, but I was like, this is still kind of pricey. I did get it for I want to say almost half of what it's going for on eBay through Facebook, but I absolutely had to have it. I love the Game Gear version. Absolutely had to have this. And it is a fantastic game. Like I said, it's like playing Castlevania, but instead of a whip, you have a knife and a gun and a sword. It's great. Picked up one Genesis game, and that is Cyborg Justice. It's a one-on-one fighting game, I think, or is this the beat-em-up one? I know you can combine all these different cyborg robot parts together, and you can constantly be changing your, not your look, but your layout for your character, your different torso, different legs, different head, different arms type of thing. Captain Algebra was streaming this not too long ago, and I think he thought it was okay. I enjoyed watching him play. I found this for $10, at video games then and now. So I was like, sure, why not? I'll take it. Whatevs. It's not bad. Got one NES game in box as usual. It's still kind of wrapped, but it is called High Speed. And you can see plainly on the cover here why I bought it. Rare. Rare did Pinbot on the NES, and Pinbot is one of my favorite NES games of all time. Did not know that they had made another pinball game for the NES, this time for Trade West instead of Nintendo. And it follows the exact same layout of Pinbot, where the screen gets cut off when the ball goes over or goes past where the flippers are. So the flippers are always on the screen. Right above the flippers, the screen gets cut off to follow the ball as it goes through the table and all that. And then when it comes back to the flippers, the screen kind of like matches up, and then you can keep playing. And it has a hell of a lot more tables and like stages to play on, since I don't believe this is based on any actual table. I could be wrong. Oh, it says the hottest pinball game ever has been converted to video. Okay, I guess it is. I've never seen a high-speed table. Could have fooled me. Oh, it says right on the front. The world's #1 pinball. Whatever. I don't care. It's rare. I had to have it. Pinbot is one of my favorite games. Had to get the pseudo follow-up. Got some PS1 games. One of them is a long box. I finally got myself a copy of WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game. When I could not get on a Mortal Kombat arcade cabinet when I was at the arcades all the time when I was a kid, if it was taken up and the line was too long, or people that were playing were being cheap and a-hole-ish, I would go over and play this, because usually nobody was on the WrestleMania cabinet. And it is just kind of like playing Mortal Kombat, just in a wrestling scenario. You don't have fatalities or anything like that, if I remember correctly. But it plays like a Mortal Kombat game instead of a wrestling game. What's up, Top Spot? How's it going? I always had fun playing it. I haven't played it probably since the arcade. I never played it on the Super Nintendo or the Genesis or any of that. I never even rented the PlayStation version back in the day. But lately I've been itching to play it again, because I saw a couple of people that I follow on Twitter had picked up a copy of this, and I was like, I remember loving that. Let's see if I can find it. And I was either going to say either the Saturn or the PlayStation version will do. And I found the PlayStation one for the cheaper price, so I got it. But you can be Doink, Bret the Hitman Hart, Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Yokozuna, Bam Bam Bigelow, and Lex Luger. So, yeah. It's like a arcadey wrestling game instead of you got to wrestle and grab people and do the body slams. No, it's like punching and kicking and Mortal Kombat special moves and shit. Upgraded my copy of Die Hard Trilogy to the Black Label version. I have the greatest hits. I'm getting rid of it now. Absolutely loved this game. It's like 3 different games in one. Each one coincides with a different movie. So the game based on the first movie is like an overhead shoot 'em up, like a run and gun, where you're in the Nakatomi building. You're taking out the terrorist, going floor by floor. Second movie is a first-person shooter, kind of like Virtual Cop. You can I think you can play it with the gun. No, you cannot. Oh, it's mouse compatible though. Oh! I did not know that. Oops, if I read the back of the box. But yeah, it's like playing Virtual Cop as you're going through the airport. And then the third movie is a racing game. Like you can be inside the car or behind the car, and you're looking for all the bombs that have been placed all over the city in New York. A lot of fun. Love it. Yeah, the driving one is my favorite one too. Yeah, the Die Hard with a Vengeance part. That's my favorite one also. I love it. Love it. It's a ripped version of Public Enemy. Really? I did not realize that. I haven't played it in forever. But yeah, I upgraded that. And when I bought that, no, it's when I bought this. I bought a copy of Reloaded because I want to say a month or two ago, I got a long box of Loaded, which was almost like a launch game, I think, for the PS1, or at least it was close to the launch, which is like a top-down run and gun that's really graphic and gory. And I love that one, but I've never actually played the sequel before. Not that I can remember. It's more of the same, better graphics, though, and I think the play control's been enhanced a little bit. So I really wanted to get a copy of this once I got the first game. And when I got it, it was in a lot on eBay, and it came with a copy of Area 51, which is a light gun game. But thankfully, you don't need to play it with the light gun. You can use a mouse, you can use a light gun, and I do believe you can also use a controller. And I remember playing Area 51 quite a bit in the arcades when it was first released. And I enjoyed it. I enjoy a good light gun game once in a while, but like Time Crisis is like the pinnacle for that kind of thing. House of the Dead. There's another one like Area 51 that came out back then. I cannot remember what it was called, but it was in the same vein where it was like digitized actors and stuff. Not Revolution X. I do need to get a copy of Revolution X, but there's another one. I cannot remember what it was. You're fighting like construction workers or some shit. Whatever. Anyway, so now we're getting into PS2, and I found all of these at the same store. The Video Games Then and Now by my work. And I picked up a copy of Unison, Rebels of Rhythm and Dance. I'd never heard of this before. It's a rhythm game that involves dancing. And I looked at the back when I saw it on the shelf, and I was like, what is this? And the back reminds me of Bust a Move or Bust a Groove. You know, the dancing game that came out for the PS1. And I was like, okay. And it has mega hot soundtrack featuring Nelly, Barbie Girl by Aqua, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Apollo 440, Joe Reno, I don't know, Phase 4, who the hell is that? But whatever. Haven't played it yet. Men at Work, the arcade game. I don't remember what it was. It was like, it was made by the same people that made Area 51, but it was like, I remember like you were fighting like, I don't know, maybe the work construction workers or something like that. I don't remember what it was. It was similar to Area, it was almost exactly like playing Area 51. Whatever. So I picked up Unison because I like a good rhythm game. Also picked up Dark Angel Vampire Apocalypse, which doesn't have a whole lot to say about on the back. I mean, there's not a whole lot of description, but it looks like a dungeon crawler, like a top-down dungeon crawler. And I love me a good dungeon crawler, so why not? Especially if it's all about the vampires. Which game are you talking about, Reggie? Unison or Dark Angel? So I picked this up. I think I got this for like $250. If there's one thing I'll always say about video games then and now, the guy does not go by eBay prices. The prices there are usually pretty reasonable, even on the stuff that normally is pretty expensive. Like, they have a copy of Power Strike there, which I think is one of the most expensive Sega Master System games out there, and he's only charging like $120 for it or something. And the last PlayStation 2 game I got is something I've been looking for forever, and that is No One Lives Forever. I remember this was like a PC game. It's a first-person spy shooter, and there's a sequel to this, I think, also. I've been trying to get this for the longest time, but I never find it, and if I do, it's always missing the manual, or the disc looks like someone wiped their ass with it. Unison? Okay. Yeah, I've never actually played it, but it looked kind of fun. We'll see. I only got it for a few bucks. So can't wait to try this out. And then like the thing was at Video Games Then and Now, he'll tell you on the label on the back if there's no manual in it or anything like that. But he won't tell you about the condition of the game because the game is actually sealed like the way GameStop used to seal the games. They used to put that plastic sticker around it so you couldn't open it up and take the game out. So when I got it home, I was like, oh yeah, it does have the manual in it. Oh, wait a minute, it's a Blockbuster rental. So I was kind of pissed that that's on there because those are a bitch to get off. But the disc itself looks brand new. So I was thrilled about that because once I saw it was a rental, I was like, great, this one's going to look like someone took sandpaper to it. Great. But like I said, it doesn't look like he resurfaced it or anything. So maybe no one ever rented it from the Blockbuster he got it from. Whew. Okay, and then I got one Xbox game while I was at Video Games Then and Now, and that is Death Row Underground Team Combat. I do believe this is a one-on-one fighting game, but it's like arena combat. You can have 4 players at once. Sounded interesting, and it's an Xbox exclusive, and I didn't own, and I got it pretty cheap. I think I paid like $4 for it, so why not? I want to say Musty Hobbit. I'm sorry, he changed his name. Xboxer Briefs reviewed this on his channel. Picked up one GameCube game, one of the only ones I still needed. I'm not going for like a complete collection for anything except for the Dreamcast. But there's like still some exclusive GameCube games I want to get. This isn't an exclusive anymore. I think it eventually came out for the PS1 or PS2. But the original Beautiful Joe, which I did have back in the day, and I liked it. It's a beat 'em up with like cel-shaded graphics, and it's like you're in a movie and stuff. It's just bizarre, and I remember the moves you can end up doing are like crazy. I haven't played these in so freaking long, but like I said, I've been looking for this for the longest time, and I've never been able to find one that was either reasonably priced or complete. So when I saw this I got this at the exchange, I was like, yeah, give it to me. And it does have a manual. The only problem was when I got it home, I was like, oh, it's a standard DVD case. But I can always get a replacement GameCube case for that later. Now we're talking about PS3. Do I go about PS3? Yeah, PS3. 2 games for that. Excuse me, I need to get another drink. Wasn't intentional, but I got 2 games for the PlayStation Move. Realized that the PlayStation Move controllers that I have for my PS4 that I use for my PSVR setup, you can actually use on the PS3. Like, I don't think it's the controllers have actually changed since they originally came out on the PS3. So you just have to plug it in the controllers into the PS3, have it recognize them, and you can use them for your PlayStation 3 games as well as your PlayStation 4 games. It's pretty awesome. So now I have all these games I can play in a different way now. And one of them is called Sorcery, which I found for like $3.50 at Video Games Then and Now. It looks like a third-person and first-person view, like action adventure game where you are casting spells with the Move controllers. Could be cool. Could be poo-poo. I don't know. Haven't played it yet. Really wanted to like that. Couldn't get into the comment. Oh, you're talking about Death Row? Yeah, like I haven't played it. I've never played it. So I cannot comment. And the other one I got is I found this at Half Price Books of all places. Like sometimes like they don't have a whole lot on their shelves anymore. Like people just aren't selling things to them anymore. So going there, I don't go there nearly as often as I used to since the store started opening up because like the place has been cleaned out and they're not replacing any of their stock. Like people just aren't selling them things at the rate that they used to. I think they have a limit of like you're allowed to bring in 2 bags worth of stuff and that's it. So I found a copy of No More Heroes, Heroes Paradise. I don't remember if this is a sequel or a remake of the original game for the Wii, but whatever. It's PlayStation Move compatible. It is a beat 'em up where you have a lightsaber made out of a fluorescent light bulb. You know, like one of those ones that's like really long that's in the ceilings. Yeah, Travis touchdown for the win, and people bleed coins. Yeah, that's the thing. Once Jason told me that I could use my, or Corpse Flood told me that I could use my PlayStation 4 Move controllers with my PlayStation 3, I was just kind of like, oh, I can play House of the Dead Overkill with those now. Give it to me, baby. Got some PSP games. I know Reggie's going to love one of them if he's still here. Reggie, prepare yourself. Oh, I picked up the first Rengoku, The Tower of Purgatory. This is a 3D beat-em-up, I do believe. I've had the second one for the PSP for the longest time. Could never find the first one for a decent price or complete or anything like that. One of them that I found at a store, the UMD was just the disc. It didn't have the case around it. I was like, no, I will not be giving you money for that. But I found this at the exchange when I went there last week, and I was like, for like $10 they were charging for it, I was like, I'll take it. Yes. Now I have both of them, and I can finally play through the series. Reggie's going to love this one. I picked up Star Ocean Second Evolution. I do have First Encounter for the PSP as well, so now I have the first 2 Star Ocean games. The first one I think came out for the PlayStation, or the Super Nintendo. And the one that we got over here for the PS1 is actually part 2. It's a first-person shooter. It looks like a beat-em-up. A battle android fighting your way up the Great Tower. Intense fighting action with randomized levels for tremendous replay value. Strategic weapon upgrades. Yeah, it sounds like a beat-em-up. Yeah, so the thing is, when I bought this at Half Price, I got this at Half Price Books as well. They had it in their expensive games case. The only thing was, they also had the first one there, which I already own. So I was like, okay, I'll take that second one. The only thing was, when they have those games that are considered expensive, they keep the games behind the counter. The case is empty. So I bring this up to the counter. The guy puts the game in it. I go home. I open it up, and I'm like, shit. They put the game for the first game, or the disc for the first game in here instead of the second one. I hope nobody buys that first one and they put the game for the second game in there for them and it's gone forever. So I go back, I bought it on a Friday. I go back on Monday. And I'm like, yeah, you guys gave me the first game in the second game's box. And the girl behind the counter did not know what the fuck I was talking about. She was just kind of like, huh. I'm like, this is part 2. Second Evolution is part 2. The first one is called First Encounter. You guys put the First Encounter game in here, and you probably still have my Second Evolution game behind the counter. So this is the first game? I'm like, no. I had to explain to her like 5 times. Finally, like the manager came over to see why she was like having a seizure behind the counter, like going like, brain stuttering. So finally I was like, look, this is the second game. You had part 1 and 2 in the case. You guys put the game for the first game in my case for the second game. Oh, okay. And then they fixed it. And for my trolls, they gave me a coupon for 15% off next thing I buy there. So I haven't been back since because that kind of pissed me off. I ended up standing there for almost 10 minutes trying to explain to this girl that they gave me the wrong freaking game. But I got to use that coupon, so I'll go back there eventually. But yeah, Second Evolution, I can actually play through those games now that I actually have the first and the second one back to back, son! And then Nintendo turned me on to this. He talked about this in one of his pickup videos from like a month ago. And the moment he brought up what it was, I was like, I need that like right freaking now. And I went on eBay and I bought a copy of it for like $15. It's called Platypus. It is a horizontally scrolling shooter, but the graphics are all claymation. And you can see it on the cover here. Everything is made out of clay. And he says that it is fantastically pulled off. It is fun to play. The music is super catchy. So I naturally was like, must own. Picked it up for like $15, I think. And yes, it is pretty awesome. I like it a lot. Picked up a bunch of 360 games while I was at the Exchange last weekend. Picked up a copy of this. I'd never heard of it, but when I read the back of it, I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah. It's called Wartech Senko Ronda. Or Rondi, I don't know how to. It's something Japanese. It's like a copy of Virtualon. It's mech fighting. Hells to the yeah. Hope the vertical scooters. That would suck. But yeah, once I saw that it was like playing Virtualon, I was like, hells to the yeah. You can kind of see it on the back here. Absolutely had to have it. Never heard of this before. I did not know this was a thing, so I said, why the hell not? Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper. Yeah. It looks like an adventure game. I love Sherlock Holmes. I like Jack the Ripper lore type stuff. You know, that sounds fun. So we'll see how that works. And then I picked this up because it was $1 and licensed games. And it can't be that bad, can it? I don't think so. I picked up a copy of Wall-E. Why not? Could be fun. It's a 3D adventure game. We'll see. It was $1. Who cares? It was a one slim dollar. My throat is going absolutely nuts right now. I must hydrate. The last of the 360 game I got, I've been trying to get this for the longest time, but I don't know why. It's always like super expensive. And then when I do find it, it is missing the official case. What do I mean by official case? I picked up the new NBA Jam, and it never has this official NBA sticker, like hologram sticker on it. Kind of see it. It's always like in a replacement case. And I was like, no. But I've always been a fan of NBA Jam. I'm not a fan of sports games in general, but this one's very arcadey and very fun, and fun as hell when you're playing multiplayer. So why the hell not? No, People Under the Stairs is probably going to come out next, probably at the end of February. I had a whole bunch in advance, ones that we recorded before I got it released. But yeah, People Under the Stairs will probably be at the end of February. So yeah, absolutely had to have this. Like I said, I've been looking for it for a while. Wanted to add it to the collection because NBA Jam is awesome. Also picked up a couple of Xbox One games. I got this at Best Buy. Like I said, they had that sale where I got a whole bunch of those Blu-rays and 4Ks on discount. It was basically a video game sale, but I was like, why don't I check out the movies too? And that was where I noticed that a whole crap load of movies have gone on sale. But a bunch of the, I want to say, some of the Switch and PS4 games that I have here, I got in this sale that they had. And this was the last, like, of all the games to not have in stock and have to get shipped to the store from another store, Lego Harry Potter collection. Huh? Back in December, I picked up the Lego Marvel Superheroes collection that had like 3 Marvel superhero Lego games in it. And I wanted to get this one too because Lego games are fun. Yeah, they're all samey and repetitive, but why not? I mean, Harry Potter's pretty cool, I guess. I want to see what the Lego version's like, so why not? But yeah, they had all those other games in stock. I had to wait like a week and a half because it had to get shipped from another store to this one that I go to. What? Haven't opened it yet. Picked this up at the exchange while I was there. I didn't really know anything about it, but I looked it up, and it looked kind of interesting, and it looks like a horror game. It's called Fade to Silence. I don't know if this is an exclusive. I don't know if this came out on the PS4, but they just happen to have the Xbox One for about $10 at the exchange, and it looks like a third-person survival horror-style game that takes place in Alaska in the snow. You get to ride on sleds, pulled by dogs, and there's like a giant monstery thing going on. What's not to like? I love a good horror game. I picked it up. Now we're getting into the PS4s. Got a lot of PS4 stuff here. Decent amount. Throat. Jesus, talking too much. Haven't talked all weekend because I live by myself. And now I'm talking for an hour and a half right now. This is the longest pickup video I think I've made since I first started these damn things. This just showed up yesterday, made of Skur. Jason of Corpse Flood Gaming beat this like right at the end of the year of 2020. It's a survival horror game. He says it's not really all that scary, but it's like a Scottish or an Irish folklore type of thing going on. It's a first-person survival horror game set in a remote hotel. Experience the gory and macabre world inspired by infamous British folklore. That's what it was. Brave the nightmares of the quiet ones. Do not panic. Don't even breathe. Which is why someone who looks like KJ Del Rey from YouTube is on the cover, covering up her mouth. But he said it's good. It could have been better, but whatever. Also got this from Best Buy, Wasteland 3. It is a dungeon crawl, like a post-apocalyptic strategy dungeon crawl type game. I have the second one for the PS4, so I wanted to get the third one also, but I was waiting for it to get discounted. I ended up getting this for like $14.95, so why not? It's somewhat scary. Yeah, it looked kind of cool. I got it really cheap, too, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Got a bunch of limited run stuff. We'll start with the standard PS4 games. Both from the same franchise, though. I got my Metal Slug Anthology and Metal Slug Double X. I love the Metal Slug games. It's like a silly version of Contra, but it's like actually more fast-paced, I think, than Contra is. The Anthology I did have for the Wii. I do not like playing with that Wiimote, so I said I was going to trade up, so I'm actually getting rid of my Wii version. But this has Metal Slug 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Metal Slug X. And then naturally you have the follow-up, Metal Slug Double X. Why not? And I do believe there's a Metal Slug 7 out there somewhere too, and I think that got Metal Slug 3 got a separate release from Limited Run. Luckily, I did not buy that because this came out not too long after, and I was like, I just got it in a compilation. Bitches. Yeah, so run and guns with awesome graphics that are kind of silly and super deformed kind of looking. Really, really fun. Great music. Fast-paced gameplay. I absolutely love Metal Slug. It's awesome. Kind of like it more than Contra. And I got a bunch of VR games. The standard ones I ended up having to get from overseas, from Perp Games or whatever they're called. So Perp, I think they're specifically releasing nothing but PSVR games now. You can't really buy them from their website if you live in the US. You have to contact customer service, and then they'll contact you back, and then you tell them what games you want. They'll tell you what the conversion rate is, and you got to go through this whole ordeal. Only problem is their customer service sucks. I went to their website. I wanted to buy 4 different games from them. 2 of them I have in my hand, and I was told I couldn't find a place to order. It would not let me order because I was in the U.S. So I went on the Twitter page and tweeted at them and says, hey, I live in the U.S. Can I actually order your games? And then they responded by saying, yeah, contact customer service. They'll give you an estimate and the exchanges and all that kind of stuff, and they'll take you through it. I'm like, okay. I sent them an email. They never responded. I sent them another email saying hey, you guys going to let me know? You guys want my money? and they still never responded. So I said, I'll get you guys, I'll get your games through other means. And I found these on eBay. So I picked up Ninja Legends for the PSVR, and it is a first-person ninja game. All you had to say was VR, first-person, and ninja, and I was there. Can't wait to play this one. It's still wrapped. But yeah, can't wait. Experience a blood-pumping, fast-paced, gory melee combat that works up a sweat. So yeah, it could also be a workout for my fat ass. Can't complain about that. And the one I really wanted is because I'm Mr. License Whore. I really wanted this, even though I don't know what the hell it's going to be like. But Doctor Who, The Edge of Time in VR. All it says is your chance to save the universe. A new mysterious enemy threatens to tear apart the universe, and only you can stop them. Armed with the sonic screwdriver, players will solve mind-bending puzzles, grapple with iconic monsters, and encounter new horizons in a quest to find the Doctor and defeat a powerful force that threatens to destroy the fabric of reality. Genuinely jaw-dropping, says Upload VR, and reminded me of the power of VR, says GameSpot. Can't wait to try it out. It doesn't sound like you're actually playing as the Doctor. You're looking for the Doctor, but there's Daleks, and you're actually in the TARDIS, so why not? But not really a Doctor Who fan like at all. I like the first season of the reboot, like when Christopher Eccleston played Doctor Who. I like that season. Everything after that, I was just kind of like, I haven't really gotten. I like Torchwood more than Doctor Who when that was on. Picked up the other PlayStation VR Walking Dead game. I have Onslaught. I picked up Saints and Sinners, and I do believe this is another first-person shooter in VR with zombies. What's not to like? And it's the complete edition, so it's got DLC stuff mixed into it, I do believe. It features Tourist Edition in-game bonuses, Meat Grinder update, and that's it. Whatever. But yeah, first-person shooter in VR, why not? Escape room style. Ooh, interesting. And the one that I could not wait for it to show up because I love this game on the Dreamcast. It was one of my favorite, like, goofy ass. You can't believe this game got made style games, like a B movie in game form. Space Channel 5 VR, kinda funky newsflash. I used to play Space Channel 5 all the time on the Dreamcast, even though the gameplay is not the greatest. It's basically like playing Simon Says. It has dancing in it, and it's like basically like you hit up, down, shoot type of thing. And then you just have to repeat what the person that you're fighting against did in the same timing that they did it. So yeah. But playing it in VR, I think with move controllers are required. That's going to be another workout style game. And I can't wait, especially if Michael Jackson shows up again in his like silver suit. Stream it. No. Someone have an idea when we'll be able to walk into a store and buy the new consoles off the shelf. The Best Buy by me, like all these games and movies that I said I've picked up from Best Buy, I've gotten each and every one of them through the curbside pickup. Because I've ordered them off the internet, and in-store pickup is not selectable at all. Everything is curbside. And every time I go there to pick something up, I picked up a bunch in December, like the week before, like the week of Christmas, before Christmas, like, a couple, like Christmas was on Thursday in 2020. I'm talking like Tuesday and Wednesday. I had to go there both days to pick up stuff that I'd ordered. While I was in line, all I saw were PS5s and Xbox Series X's coming out the door being handed off to cars that were waiting in front of the store. And every time I've gone there this month, the exact same thing. There's at least 2 people in front of me in line at the curbside pickup getting a PS5 or an Xbox Series X brought out to their car. I saw one guy just walk out with one with his kid, like from inside the store. I was like, oh, okay, I guess they're back in stock everywhere. It's not a big deal anymore. It's okay. When my big ass stimmy from Biden shows up, that's what's getting bought. Both of those suckers. They're going to be mine. So now the final things I'm going to talk about are the Switch games I've gotten, and some of these are from Best Buy also, but I did pick this one up at the Exchange. Never heard of it. Didn't know anything about it. The reason I wanted to buy it is because of the extra stuff it comes with. And this, I didn't even know I've never even heard of the first game in the series. This is the sequel. It's called Into the Dead 2. I asked the guy, because all the games at the exchange are like behind glass cases. You have to ask to see them. So I'm like, hey, can I see that Into the Dead 2 game? The guy brings it out. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It's a first-person shooter with zombies. That looks pretty cool. And I didn't notice it until like I was in line waiting to buy it. And I look up, and at the top it says, includes special content from Night of the Living Dead and Ghostbusters. So there was a Night of the Living Dead scenario. I hope the game's in black and white, and actually it looks like it too. It does look like Night of the Living Dead is in black and white. But when you're playing the Ghostbusters stuff, it's a first-person shooter game where you have a proton pack. I was so glad I picked this up. Oh, it's a mobile game? What? That's crazy. Well, whatever. I love first-person shooters. Being able to play a first-person shooter as a Ghostbuster? Fuck yeah. These next two games I got from Best Buy. I picked them up because they were on sale. And Switch games from Nintendo rarely ever go on sale. Maybe my WikiPad? Wow. I did not... I've never even heard of it. I don't play mobile games like at all. I have like one, jewel matching game. I have the Marvel jewel matching game because I always have to have one of those on my phone just to pass the time. And I have Ascension, which is a deck building card game that I actually have the actual board, the physical game of. I like playing that on my phone too. That's it. I don't play many things on my phone. I'd rather play my Switch or something. But like I said, first party NES or NES, Jesus, first person Switch games from Nintendo never go on sale. Best Buy's been putting them all on sale. So I got Paper Mario Origami King for half off. I got this for like $30. And I haven't played a Paper Mario game in a long time. And I think Captain Algebra recently played through this, and he said it was okay. I think Jason from Corpse Flood Gaming also played through it. I can't remember. But I like a good Paper Mario game, so I said, why not? And like I said, they rarely ever go on sale. The one I really wanted was Cadence of Hyrule, which has Crypt of the Necrodancer featuring The Legend of Zelda on it. And it's like a Zelda rhythm game. Keep the beat to save the kingdom. The world and music of the Legend of Zelda series meet the dungeon-delving rhythm action of Crypt of the Necrodancer. I've never played it before. I know some people love it, some people hate it. Yep, I have like five expansions for Ascension. I was buying all the promo cards. I competed in tournaments at Gen Con. I won like the first 2 rounds at one of them, I think. I think it was the first 2 rounds. Yeah, because I got promo cards from those. But yeah, I love Ascension. It's really fun. It's gone crazy now. I stopped playing the actual physical one, but I play it on my phone. Like I've been playing it ever since the app came out. I'm still playing it like almost 10 years later. But yeah, Cadence of Hyrule wanted to get this. Want to get all the Legend of Zelda games, so I had to get that. And the last game I'm going to talk about is from Limited Run, and that is Cthulhu Saves Christmas. I don't remember if I had a game of Cthulhu Saves something on my 360. I remember I downloaded it through the Xbox Live Shop. I don't remember if it was called Cthulhu Saves the World or whatever, but I had a Cthulhu Saves something game, and it's like a old school Final Fantasy NES game. I never beat it, but I played it a good deal, and it was pretty fun. So when I saw that one was coming out for the Switch, I was like, do I get this for the PS4, or do I get it for the Switch? I got it for the Switch because I thought it would be something fun to play on the go when I'm at work or whatever. But I cannot remember if it was Cthulhu Saves Christmas or Cthulhu Saves the World or whatever. But like I said, I played it a lot on my 360 and I loved it. So yeah, had to get that. It's silly and funny. It's like almost like a parody of a Final Fantasy, like Final Fantasy 1 on the NES. You had to have it. Absolutely. Had to have a good old school RPG. And that's it. Quite possibly the longest pickup video I've done since my first one, where I was like talking about 6 months worth of pickups in one stream. And I think it was like a 3-hour stream. This is the longest one I think I've done ever since that. Like I said, January was a very good month for me. Had a lot of extra money to spend. And I think I spent it pretty well. I have a lot of movies to watch. I have a lot of games to play. When is that never the case? So, yeah, thank you everybody for coming and sticking around for this long-ass freaking stream. February probably won't be as epic as this month. Don't get me wrong, I get my my yearly bonus next week, I'm buying a Polymega with it. I did pre-order one through Walmart, but I got the news that Walmart and the people that make the Polymega are fighting again. So they said, hey, everyone, like on the Polymega like Twitter page, you're like, hey, everyone, cancel your pre-orders with Walmart. Just buy it through us. We'll also discount it. We'll give you like a 50% or $50 off code that you can use. And the thing is, like, when I got it at Walmart, they aren't going to charge me for it until it ships. And I was like, oh, so I got to be a responsible adult and have like $400 in my account until then? Or $400 for that in my account until it releases in like April or something. I was like, nah. But when I think I order it through the Polymega site, they charge you right then and there. So yeah, but I'm probably not going to get it till June if I do. Whatever. I just want it because I want to start streaming again, and I want to stream my Saturn games without using my Retro Tink, and I can play them all through the Polymega, which is awesome. So yeah, I've been putting off buying it since it was announced. I didn't want to Kickstarter it or whatever it was that they were doing. I don't like doing Kickstarters because there's no guarantee you're going to get it or you're not going to get ripped off. So now that it's pretty close to release, I think I'm going to pull the trigger on it. I thought I did, but I canceled my Walmart pre-order, and I was like, whatever. So yeah, get the stimmy from the government. Going to get my Xbox Series X and a PS5 with that. Going to get a Polymega with my bonus, and probably some more games and shit that I don't need. Some more movies. There's still some stuff that's in my wish list on that Scream Factory website, so you might see some more of those next month. But yeah, and my tax return's coming too. So 2020's looking good. Not good for my wallet though. Could save some money, but what? Where's the fun in that? So thank you everybody for coming and hanging out with me tonight. Really enjoyed talking about all this stuff. Got to talk about some awesome stuff, games and movies alike. Hells to the yes. It's always fun chatting with people as I do so. I'm going to really, I know I've said this the last 2 months in a row. I'm going to really try to get that collaboration video out in February. I knew I said at the end of December that I was trying to work on it and I just didn't have the chance, and I was going to get it out in January. January sucked for work, and I just did not have the energy to edit anything. I just basically wanted to come home from work, sit down on my recliner, and watch something instead of actually putting thought into editing and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, I was working on the edit today. I was like, you're going to sit your fat ass down and you're going to do some work. And I was like, okay. And I did, and I got some progress done. I'm going to try to really have it out by February because I feel really bad that all these people like Top Spot and 8-Bit Glitch and everybody gave me videos like almost a year ago in some cases like Telesplash. Almost a year ago they gave me stuff and I've just been sitting on it like this. But I really need to get this damn thing done. I really need to just get some freaking edited content done for this channel because it's like stagnating. Like nobody's subscribing anymore because I'm only making like one video a month and it's a stream. Maybe if I streamed more it'd be better. Or if I just need to release some content, some edited content. I need to get off my ass and just suck it up and do it. But I bought all these movies. I got to watch them all. Counterproduction. But anyway, a 3D copy of Blade Runner. Oh, dude, I bought a 4K 3D. I bought a Blade Runner 2049 4K and 3D box set thing off of eBay for like $50. And then immediately after I bought it, they jumped up to like 100 something. I was like, what is going on? Like what? Even Venom. Like I didn't really like Venom, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to watch that in 3D. And there's like a 4K/3D combo that's going for like $300 on eBay. Like what? Venom of all freaking movies. What? I think it's just because they're becoming harder and harder to find. Like nobody's releasing 3D Blu-rays anymore. Like I used to get them all from Korea, and even they're not doing it anymore. So I think 3D on home video is like dead. So yeah, you just subscribed. Thanks, Reggie. Oh. So yeah, like I said, thank you everybody for coming and hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate it. Like I said, haven't talked to anybody since Friday because snowpocalypse is going on outside. Like I said, it's going to be fun digging my car out in the morning at 4 a.m. So I will talk to you all later. Definitely going to try to get that freaking collaboration video out. Really going to try. And I'll talk to you all later. Chris, the old ass retro gamer, out. Have a good night. Stay safe, everybody.